Mic on so I can hear it.
Check, check, check. Afternoon. My name is Levent Kürdemir. I'm here with another live star stream with Jim Bader from UTA Planetarium as well, program coordinator. We'll be here for space news. So Jim, what you got for me today?
Yeah, we got a couple of things exciting to talk about. So we can jump right into those. First, I wanted to know, do you want to give the night sky update? So we've done this a couple times, but for me, the last one we did covered Orion and Betelgeuse, and it's pretty tough. I mean, if you go outside, just say like you go outside at 8:39 p.m. or when it's finally like really dark, 9:30. Orion's not really visible anymore. So, did you want to give a quick update?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure,
Let's bring up the night sky.
Jump right into that.
Well, because we are now in summer times, the sunset is pretty late, so we need to wait until at least like 8:30 to see really things in the sky. Otherwise, we will be just watching nice sunsets and the twilight time like this one. And after sunset, some bright stars and constellations will appear in the sky. This is going to be a great time for especially finding North Star. It's very easy because the Big Dipper constellations is up in the sky and very clear. So and it seems like the forecast is showing a very, very clear, nice sky. So well, after sunset, we need to go and forward the time a little bit to find the time after sunset, and we'll just do that quickly over here. So we won't see the stars until 8:30, but after 8:30 plenty of stars will come right up and you can find the constellations for yourself. And I will start from south direction, and a little bit on southeast we can actually still see Orion. It's not too late to find Orion. You can see plenty of stars, but especially over here we'll see some other constellations that easy to find, like Gemini constellation, for example. The Orion is very low in the sky, so this is gonna be I made it like 9 o'clock because it's easier to see stars at 9 rather than 8:30 or 8:15. And here is the brightest star of the night sky, Sirius. It is already very low in the sky. And here is well, another constellation called Canis Minor, Little Dog. So can we see the constellation representations of these?
Yeah, we can.
So we can identify them better, but it may be just a great opportunity for the constellation Gemini, which is right over here.
Are you trying to get me to light these up for you?
Yes, please.
Yeah, let me try. See if I can get it. It's not what I usually juggle. I could light up the little dog for folks. I could light the big dog up. Sorry, I'm on top of you, Levent. But
yes,
I have to admit, before I do that, I want to warn you, Levent drew this. So, yeah. we go. You guys can see right behind him, Levent's wonderful. That's supposed to be a dog. I told him it looks like a goat, cat, or something, but he told me it was a dog. I don't know. I don't know if you have an explanation for that, Levent.
No, I don't have any explanation, but because the Sirius is the brightest star and it is located in constellation Canis Major, which means big dog, but I always make fun of little dog, because if we just look at the constellation of little dog, the actual constellation, it has only 2 stars. The star Procyon, it only makes a straight line with the constellation representation. And I'm wondering who imagined a little dog in this constellation. So, well, to me, it looks like more like a hot dog or hot link, whoever named it. But it's called officially Canis Minor, so it's a little dog constellation. So one of the constellation you can easily find is the constellation of Gemini, the twins. So this constellation is right here above in the sky, and there are famous stars with this constellation called Pollux and Castor. So here, well, this is the constellation representation. It is very easy to find in the sky. Also, there is some artwork we can put over here too to represent the twins. So yes, they are imagined as twins, very high up in the sky. You can find it for yourself. But one of the, I think the easiest thing to do in the summer times, finding Big Dipper and later finding the constellation, the star, the North Star. So Big Dipper is right above me, very easy to find. So when you look slightly above the north direction, you will find the star, the 7 bright stars that make up the constellation Big Dipper. So here is Big Dipper. It really looks like a big giant ice cream spoon in the sky. So here are on the edge of the Dipper, we call them guide stars. Why? Because it guides to a very special star. If you just drop a line from the guide stars, you find here it is not that low in the sky. Well, if you see the horizon, it will make more sense. So you will see it about that direction. So that was the star we pointed out. This star is the North Star. So North Star points us of course, north direction. So face yourself to North Star. Here is you find north. You don't need compass. You don't need your sophisticated smartphone to find directions. Here is the North Star. It is the part of constellation Little Dipper. So Little Dipper is just the upside down version of another ice cream scoop in the sky, if you say. And well, the dippers are also imagined as bears. So let me show you the bears too. Yeah. For Little Dipper, it can be imagined something like this. But for the Big Dipper part, you need to imagine like more stars to imagine this Dipper. But something's wrong with those bears, of course. When I visited the zoo last time, I don't see long tails on bears.
You know, we see these every time, and we get the questions that you're bringing up all the time. Why do they have tails? And can you talk about the actual, like, why do they have tails? When people, they call them Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, which translates to Big Bear and Little Bear. Why do they have tails? What's the real explanation that we have for that?
Well, why the bears have tails?
Yeah. I mean like in this depiction, the
I don't know.
Huge tails.
It's just coming from their nature. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a fiction behind it that I don't want to elaborate much, because the fiction with those constellations is not really my let's say area of expertise. I don't have much interest. I'm more interested in the physical properties and why astronomically this is important. Well, the Big Bear and the Big Dipper is only important to me because I use these 2 guide stars to find North Star over here. But rather than, let's talk about the North Star itself a little bit, because the North Star is not only pointing the north direction to us. There is another function of this star. It also tells you one of the coordinates of geographical location. So when you get a GPS fix at some point, you get two different numbers. One is the geographical latitude, one is the geographical longitude. That two numbers in the coordinate system puts you or points where you are on the Earth's map. So you can find where you are using that two numbers that comes from the GPS. Well, if GPS do not exist, you can also obtain these numbers from objects in the sky. And one of the number comes from directly from North Star, your geographical latitude. For Arlington, it is located about 33 degrees high from horizon, and that's the latitude of Arlington, Texas. It will be similar number for Dallas and Fort Worth too, but if you change your place, like for example, if you travel to New York, this North Star will go slightly higher in the sky because you are now above 40-degree latitude. If you travel to Canada, especially the northern part or Alaska, you will find the North Star going higher and higher. If you travel down to Mexico, North Star will be going lower and lower, and it will always represent your geographical latitude if you just measure its angular distance from the horizon. All right, so here is the importance of North Star. So now we are using maybe very sophisticated electronic devices and GPS satellites, etc., for navigation. But what do you think people were using thousands of years ago, and they were still traveling around the world on ships?
I think this is a great time. So you're speaking of satellites to transition to both a news article that I think you wanted to talk about. Mm-hmm. And also, very appropriately, I commented perfect question from Lamia. So recurring. Good to see you again, Lamia. She had a fantastic question, which we will publish for you guys. And Levent, would you like to expand on the question here?
Yes. My question this week is about China's straying rocket. Can this incident make restrictions on space exploration later on? I think it will. Well, why? Because the China launched a rocket that was going to be the first steps of the Chinese space station, and it was a test mission. As far as I understood, the rocket went into space successfully. We talked about it here before during the SpaceX launch. What is the big deal about the launches? The problem is when you shoot your rocket, you used a lot of fuel, and the fuel tanks are getting empty, and after one point you have to just detach those fuel rockets or fuel containers. So because you don't need that kind of weight in space, and the NASA was historically just dumping them on the ocean. Of course, they were going and recovering them, but the cost is amazing to do that. And the SpaceX brought a different approach, and they put some smart navigation technology on the rockets. So those containers, those tanks, are detaching from the spacecraft and flying back to the launch pad. So which is amazing technology. So Chinese was trying to do the similar thing. So it went into the space successfully, but they had a problem with during the re-entry, and they ended up losing the communication with the rocket, and then now we do not know where the rocket is. So there is a problem if there is something in space and you don't know where it is, right? Because we know that the Earth has a gravity force. The gravity force make airborne things to go down. So if we go high and just release ourselves to open air, we would go down to Earth. So this is going to be happening to everything in near Earth, in space, and this rocket or the spaceship is going to go down. The problem is where. So we don't know where because It's not possible to estimate or calculate because we don't know what went wrong and where did it go wrong. But all we can say is 75% of our planet is covered by water. So statistically, 75% of chance this rocket will end up in water, which is no problem. But what if it goes and decides to land on land? What's up, Jim?
What?
So you were looking strange, so that's why I was.
No, I was just listening in to what you're talking about. It is like Lamia said, it's pretty scary to imagine something falling out of the sky like that. I think the good news for us, for everybody, is that America has been doing this for a long time. We've been accidentally letting stuff come through the atmosphere. As a matter of fact, Skylab crashed in Australia. It didn't even land in the ocean. So I did, when I saw the article, and I hope this doesn't come as a surprise to many, I felt a little propaganda-y. Not in any way to be anti-American, but I felt like, why do you have to point out that, like that China is doing this wrong when we've done it wrong a lot of times? But I don't think it's too much to worry about, right? I mean, the chance of it hitting any person or any structure is so small.
Yes, well, this is the same thing for all the space debris and even the asteroids and the meteors coming from space too. Like we have a meteor shower coming up very soon, and we'll see a lot of shooting stars in space. But those are actually the pieces of rock, of course, smaller than these, but they are burning in the sky. But some of them are not burning completely and can land anywhere. So these are happening all the time. 75% of chance they are getting into water. What if they choose to that 25% of chance and do not land on water? So yes, they will end up at a land. But the thing is, if you look at the map, especially the world map with the civilized section, so big part of our planet is covered by forests and deserts and the ice.
Uninhabited area. That's
yes, you're correct to say
no
that.
People.
So it is going to be probably end up in an area, a rural area that hopefully we'll find later on. But
I want to just chime in for a second. So our in-house planetarium aerospace engineer Jennifer just reached out to me and informed me that that Space Force, the new military branch, is tracking the satellite. So they're watching it carefully, and I assume that means, I don't know if Jennifer can give me any updates on it. I assume that means we'll know more about its expected landing area soon. So
yeah. But the part of the question was, which is a political question, will that bring any restrictions into the space exploration and launches? Well, it may be, but the problem is, engineers are not making design mistakes purposefully. So even NASA had very unsuccessful launches. Russians also had very unsuccessful launches, and many other countries, space agencies too. So those designs are not made with purpose, but when they do, so how the restrictions are going to be? I mean, are you going to just show your design to other countries, space agencies, and say, hey, can you check this if this is correct? This is not going to happen because we know it's all like high-tech engineering and nobody wants to share information in that business.
I would say I think there's some benefit to stuff coming back to Earth, and that's that it's no longer in space and it's not adding to space debris.
Yeah.
It does become litter, so that's already a big issue, but you don't have to worry about sending astronauts up there and then getting taken out by a chunk of a satellite.
That's true. So we don't know what's going to happen, but certainly, I mean, we don't want to scare anyone, but there's some unattended spaceship is flying around the planet.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up, Lamia. It was actually perfect. totally perfect. I think that according to Jennifer, our in-house aerospace engineer, um, she's saying that I guess federal agencies are expecting it to land around May 8th. So we'll probably know more in a couple of days.
Look for it.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't expect to find the pinpointed location of reentry, like where it's going to hit, until like just a few hours out. Because when it breaks up, it's not going to be a single point. I think Jennifer was telling me earlier it's going to be like over 100 miles or something like that of debris. So, yeah, you can imagine it like, not that we like to bring it up, but when Columbia re-entered, it landed all over North Texas. So, I mean, the debris from it was not a nice single point. But anyway, yeah, we have news stories. Speaking of sending astronauts to space, we have a huge anniversary. It's 60 years, Levent. It's been 60 years since, really, there's two anniversaries we're going to bring up, but the primary one that bring it up today, because it has been 60 years to the day since we sent, since America sent a human into space, in particular Alan Shepard on the Mercury Redstone 3, or as it was referred to, I guess typically, Freedom 7. This is a cool event, I think. This is neat. Yuri Gagarin did it first with the Soviet Space Agency, but Alan Shepard was our first. And he had a more ridiculous story. Have you heard the story of what happened to him on the launch pad, Levin?
No, I have not.
Oof, you're missing out. So we'll just go ahead and jump into that. I'm gonna pop on screen for a moment because this is too funny to not bring up. Anyway, while he was on the launch pad, I'm curious what you think about this. He got up there in the top of the rocket, Alan Shepard did, getting ready to get launched. And then there was a small failure with some small piece on the rocket, and they delayed it. And he said, "Hey, guys, I've been up here for 4 hours. I really need to relieve myself. I need to go to the bathroom." And they said, "You're not getting out of that rocket." And he decided to just do it where he sat. He was in a sealed suit, and he's like, "It's not going anywhere." Yeah, he had to relieve himself in the rocket, in which he launched to space that way. Although there are plenty of interviews with him saying that with the oxygen inside of the capsule, with how clean and dry everything was, by the time that he launched, it was all dry. But still a ridiculous situation to happen.
Now, the astronaut suites are also actually designed to be used for these type of needs. So that
because of this event specifically, when they designed the suit, in his suit, it was not designed for that, and that's when they realized, oh no, we need to be prepared for this. Quite ridiculous, but yeah. So happy 60th anniversary, 60 years since we've been launching humans into space. Kind of neat, I think.
Now we are launching drones in space.
Yeah, now we're launching drones. Next article that I think is kind of neat that we want to bring up really had to do with, I don't know if you can slide a little bit out of the way there. You can see Crew 1 mission has officially ended. So this is the splashdown. This is crazy. It actually splashed down super late at night. So this is like 3 in the morning. It hit the water at 2:56 or something. I just imagine how terrifying I would be as an astronaut. Not if there's not enough terrifying stuff going on, but hey, I'm landing in the middle of the night. So these, the U.S. NASA is going to have to go out and find him in the dark, in an ocean. That just sounds ridiculous, but.
That is the crew that was launched into space right after the Earth Day, right? The Friday following the Earth Day.
This is the one that was launched. I think it was late last year.
I see.
I'll get some clarification on that shortly. I'm sure, as a matter of fact, Jennifer will probably send me a message in moments. But Crew 1 was, I think, launched late last year, but we'll know for sure. It's kind of neat, though. First complete successful mission of America sending humans back. So it was in November, mid-November is when it was launched.
Great.
Kind of neat. And then we have some more stuff to bring up. So let's go ahead and we had another cool thing happen. I need to get myself off the screen. I think that's what needs to happen. We have a new admin. For those of you who don't know, when administrations switch, oftentimes they swap out the NASA administrator. Hasn't happened every time. In fact, sometimes it lasted a little bit longer, but a little bit shorter. Yeah, we have a new NASA administrator. This is the second NASA administrator to be a previously elected official. So that's an interesting thing. The last one, Jim Bridenstine, part of the previous administration, was the first previously elected official to be in charge of NASA. A lot of people were kind of irritated by that. In this case, I'm a little less like it's a little less of a friend appointee or just a part of my political party, because Bill Nelson was an astronaut before. So he actually was an astronaut on STS-61C. And a little nerve-wracking for Bill Nelson. It was the last mission before the Challenger accident. So he landed like January 18th. I'm guessing 18th because January 28th was the Challenger incident, or accident, I shouldn't say incident. So that had to be a little nerve-wracking to know, that could have been me. If weather hadn't gone right, I think it was like a 4-day mission or something. So January 14th, 12th, 6th, so 12th. Jennifer just informed me it was the 12th. January 12th. Like just 2 weeks different. The weather could have been what caused a bad day for their space shuttle. It's kind of wild. But anyway, previous NASA astronaut was an elected official, but we'll see what they do.
Well, hopefully it will be bringing new energy to NASA, which I think should be more active role in the space programs.
Yeah.
Because especially they lost a lot of speed after the cancellation and the cancellation of the space shuttle program. So STS spacecrafts are not flying anymore, and the previous ones are sitting in museums nowadays, and as a visitor it's a great thing to see a real spaceship, but I would prefer them flying in space rather than become an artifact in the museum.
Definitely.
So, and also I have an interesting news. The oxygen production experiment on Mars surface went successfully, as the principal investigator of the program announced. They were able to produce oxygen on the surface of Mars for enough oxygen for 10 minutes for an astronaut. So that's a very big, important event, and the experiment was carried with the famous the Perseverance rover. It was one of the experiments that the Perseverance was going to carry, and now they are able to produce oxygen on the surface of Mars. The experiment just produced enough for 10 minutes. So in the future, some other maybe labs or some other the rovers will carry the instruments necessary to produce oxygen. It is freely available on our planet, but not freely available on the surface of Mars.
It's good to know that we have a way to get it, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So
definitely interesting. Well, speaking of on Mars, Levent, you teed us off for my last news article, and that has to do, as you guys can see on screen, that we're still keeping the Perseverance up after we're switching. That's because we have a Perseverance update. Go guess. Never guess. Super cool thing. So, Ingenuity and Perseverance have been on the surface now for quite some time, and Ingenuity, yeah, as Levin's pointing at, Ingenuity has just been successful and then successful, and it's had 4 successful flights. The last one was huge, really long flight. So successful that NASA said, hey, we did not intentionally, initially plan on using Ingenuity as an actual science engine, something to help us do science on the surface. It was to test, will this work? But they're like, it's working so well, we're going to use it for science. So I thought this was really cool. It was really originally just planned to be used for 30 days, test if it could work. And it was because it was such a success, they said, how can it be used to help Percy? So it's going to be going out, looking at places for Perseverance to look at, and us to get new data. And yeah, they're just going to use it until it dies.
Great.
Most of the stuff on the drone was not designed for space.
Yes.
So they expect it to just break one morning after it gets too cold and then too hot. Kind of neat, though.
Tomorrow morning is going to be a great opportunity if you would like to see a meteor shower. Eta Aquarids is going to peak Thursday morning, but it's going to be like very early morning hours from somewhere like between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. if you would like to see it. And I would like to correct a misconception because I see it on the especially the social media news a lot. They are relating this meteor shower to Halley's Comet. Yeah, that's true, but the Halley's Comet is not going to be visible tomorrow morning. So, and it is not going to be visible until 2061. Halley's Comet was one of the most popular comet in the 80s because it remained visible in the sky for days, and that was in 1986. The comets that particular comet especially is on a 75 year long period orbit, so that means it will going to come back and become visible in 2061, and hopefully we will be streaming with you to show that event at that time. I would be probably retired by then.
2061, what?
2061, yes.
That's a lot of streaming.
And so what about Halley's Comet and the relationship with the meteor shower tomorrow? Yes, there's indeed relation because Halley Comet and like other comets, when they are orbiting around their orbit, they leave debris. So that means the orbit of the Halley's Comet, so the Halley Comet, the comet itself occupies one point in the orbit, but the remaining orbit, which is elliptical, is covered by the debris left behind the comet itself. So that debris, time to time, intersects with Earth because the Earth's orbit and the Halley's Comet are intersecting. So in this intersect, the encounter happens twice in a year. One is happening in the month of October. So the Earth encounters a lot of debris. The debris burns in the sky and appear as a meteor shower, and we call it Orionid's meteor shower. And the second one happens in May, in the month of May, and that happens another meteor shower, and we call them Eta Aquarids. So it's the Halley Comet's debris, but not the Halley Comet itself. All right.
Pretty exciting. So go outside, look up. Hopefully we have clear skies. It's been stormy. It is spring in Texas, right? So you never know what the weather's going to be like. All the weather forecasters do their best, but yeah, it's spring in Texas. What are you going to do?
Now, go and enjoy being outdoors. Today is a great day, the temperature-wise, the humidity-wise, the air quality-wise. Today is going to be one of the good days, but I think they are expecting some high pollutants on Friday and Saturday. So watch for that. It's always a good idea to, if you don't have it in your app, EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, has an app that shows the air quality of your specific location. You can check the air quality if you are concerned about going outdoors, but there's certainly enjoyable weather for this afternoon.
Yeah, it looks nice. All right. I think that does it for us, right?
Yes, hope to see you next week.
We'll see you all next week.